Alright guys, fair to say that last international wasn't the best one, but new year, let's get off to a good start, okay? We've got Germany. Now obviously they're Germany, they're pretty good, but they're only 10th in the world. They're not that far above us, so they might be on the decline. So let's try and get a result, then back to New Zealand to take on Paraguay. They're below us, that should be just easy work, okay? I want a good window to start this year. Let's go, boys.
Party in the streets and the city's on fire.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 156 of the New Zealand Builder Nation here on Shaun Does FM with both Kashmir Technicolor and the All Whites. I hope you're doing well, and coming up that's our first international window in 2039. We travel to take on Germany, bus trip included, before going back to New Zealand to take on Paraguay. So if you're looking forward to that as well as a little bit of an update on what's been happening at Kashmir Tech. Not that there's been a lot since the end of last week, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. But at the end of last week, did do some transfers going to the start of the new year and also made our way through the group stages of the OFC Champions League. So if you missed that one, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner since then at Kashmir Tech. Just played one competitive game, you can see it there, a week before we're about to play Germany in our first friendly in this window. It was against Havelock North in the Charity Cup here in New Zealand. Of course, this might have some weight on it, considering we could take this team on in the final of this season's OFC Champions League. And as per usual against them, we dealt them a pretty big hiding here with a 6-0 win, goals in the first half to Janssen, Khalid and Kamalo, and off the bench, a hat-trick to Maddie de Hotman de Villiers. So that, a very impressive win, especially away from home, completely dominant. They did not get a single shot on target, so that does suggest the Champions League this season could be quite easy work for us. If we do meet them in the final, there is a chance, of course, that they could bow out before then, but being another New Zealand team, that is extremely unlikely. So that's all that's really happening at Kashmir Tech off the back of making our way through the group stage at the end of last week. So really, we can just focus on the All Whites in this upcoming window where we take on a very good team in Germany, albeit ranking-wise, not actually doing that well. They're equal 9th in the world with the USA, but they are Germany. They're a 4-time World Cup winner. They will probably be a bit better than that ranking does suggest. And away from home, they are definitely the favourites going into that game. Still got some very good players like Hassan Ojulago, who is these days at Manchester City at 32 years old, is the man who starts off at Schalke. That's quite fitting considering that's where we're going for this bus trip that we are about to do. I've got Davic at Barcelona, another very good player, as you can tell by those filthy attributes, and also their key player apparently is from Real Madrid in Thomas Search. They might have a bit on us here in terms of their ability, this German team, but hopefully we can find a way to try and grab a result off them here in this first game. The second game, though, should be a lot more winnable for us. We take on Paraguay down in 19th, so they are a couple of spots below us on the world rankings, and that one is back in New Zealand. Their key players are Porfirio Bretes, also at Barcelona. To be fair, he might be the pick of all the players I've just seen. He looks ridiculous, especially physically, so all of a sudden, not so confident about this Paraguay game. Also, their vice-captain from Manchester United in Ramon Melgarejo. He doesn't look quite as good as the Barca guy, but for a defender, that's still pretty darn good, albeit it is only recommended there, I see, 45 minutes for their game that they're about to play against South Korea, and Bretes is their key player. So I'd like to think we can beat Paraguay, albeit now that I've seen Bretes, maybe not quite so confident in Germany, though that will be a bit tricky, and especially because we have a couple of injuries going into this window with the All Whites. Let's make our way over the tactic, and you should be able to see where the changes do come based on our starting lineup and who else is in the squad. And the injuries do come at both left and right back. Harrison Debenham from Kashmir Tech, he gets a call up because unfortunately Tresor Nyankuru, he is out currently. And it is a broken collarbone that he suffered for the Phoenix during a game against Adelaide United only a couple of weeks ago. He is out for 2 to 4 weeks. And the other player who is missing for this window is Asana Diop, our former man at Kashmir Tech. To be fair, he's actually quite close to coming back from his injury, only 3 days away, but missing this Germany game would have been a bit of a risk for that Paraguay one. So it does mean we're missing a couple of usual players who would start for us at right back and be the backup at left back. So going back to the squad, obviously, as you saw Harrison Debenham does come in, and because Darman, as per usual, quite tired and also heavy match workload, he'll actually get a start here against Germany. That's a little bit of a weak area. Also, on the bench, Cody Phoenix does come in, as was the case at the World Cup before Diop did qualify for the All Whites. Those are only 2 changes to the squads. To be fair, only one of those does affect our usual first choice 11. But then we make our way down a bit further. We've got a lot of players on 45-minute restrictions. Alex Paulson, only a few months away from retirement, is one of them. Also, Darman, to be fair, wouldn't have started him on that yellow heart anyway. Lucas Kelly-Hill, Louis Evans, and Owata Uelese. So it does mean that Paulson and Evans, who usually would start as well as Darman, I suppose, but yeah, he's always tired. We're kind of used to that. But Paulson, Evans, they would usually be starting for us. Not the case. A little bit weaker than we would like to be fair, with Paulson not being able to start. That actually sets us up quite well here to see what the future might look like before David Cifuentes hopefully does commit to the All Whites in the not too distant future, because Billy Debenham is the second choice here these days, the former guy that we head up at AFC Auckland these days, just being traded to Nashville from FC Dallas. He'll get the starts in this window. We'll see if he does a decent job, to be fair, these days. Bit of an elder statesman at 31 years old. Definitely going to need Cifuentes to commit to the All Whites. Let's hope that happens. Otherwise, that might be a weak area for the next World Cup. But a potential taste of the future there with Debenham starting these couple of games that we are about to play. But hopefully can somehow find a way here to try and grab a result against Germany before going back to New Zealand and hopefully getting the job done as expected based on the world rankings when we do take on Paraguay. But before we get stuck into this first game, we are of course away for this one in Germany. Now I did think about not doing a bus trip with the next World Cup actually being in Germany, but not too sure what the chances are of us ending up at this arena for the World Cup. So I thought we might as well do one. Been a little while since we've done a bus trip here now on the channel. So before we get stuck into this Germany game, let's sneak in a bus trip to the Beltons Arena in Gelsenkirchen. And as with any overseas bus trip, we do start by finding a hotel to stay at. Now, of course, this time around, not a fee for tournaments. We're doing to be a bit more skimper with our money. New Zealand football don't have the biggest bank account, is fair to say, especially in the safe. So we're going to stay at a place here called the Arena Hotel. To be fair, it looks tidy without looking too special, but definitely not quite the quality of some of the other places that we have stayed at recently in this safe. But you can see there what's nearby in the area. There's a car dealer, quite useful if our minibus breaks down. Also a Japanese restaurant, Burger King, KFC. There's a Euro part, whatever the heck that is. That might be a shopping mall or something. In fact, there's a wholesaler. That looks like cars. Looks like there's some other shopping nearby. It's not the worst area and not too far away at all from the stadium. So we're going to stay here at the Arena Hotel. There's their website. Apparently it's personal and friendly. They've got lollies, I presume that is, up at the counter when you do check in. What else have we got going on here? There's a hallway, 2 floors, so it's a very big place. Not really compared to where we've been staying. A bit of a black and white aspect, to be fair. That does suit us with a New Zealand team. They do have breakfast in a light-filled breakfast room. You'd hope it's filled with light, otherwise breakfast in the dark, that'll be weird. They've got some pastries, a breakfast buffet that will do before we can grab the KFC and whatnot at dinner time. So that's where we're going to be staying for this bus trip over to the home of Schalke. Actually not too sure what division they're in now in this save in 2039, but to be fair, quite a quick bus trip. Of course, Germans, they do like driving fast. It's only 1.4 kilometers. Apparently, this should just take 4 minutes in our car, aka our minivan. So let's just see how this goes here. We'll start up right outside of the hotel, and hopefully this will work in a big country like Germany. And indeed it is the case, but we're actually going to start off here inside the hotel. So let me just figure out here how to get out of the hotel, because we actually want to be on the road. If I can get onto the actual road. And eventually I found the road. Unfortunately, that area around the hotel actually wasn't covered by Google Maps in terms of street view, but now we've found where we need to go. I believe up there somewhere is where we just came from. There you can see the Euro part we just looked at before, as well as a couple of car rental places. Quite useful for us, probably where we got this minibus from. But now it's time to make our way up onto the main strip, and that should take us to the stadium here in Gelsenkirchen, the home of Schalke. So let's just ignore the stop signs, because we're a football team. Get our way onto the right side of the road in this case the right side of the road in terms of the actual side of the road we want to be on. Of course, the opposite of what we usually do here in New Zealand, and make our way down the road just a little bit. Quite country-like here it looks like currently. Lots of trees, lots of greenery. Does look quite nice and pleasant at the moment. Let's see if that changes once we get a bit closer to the stadium. As we're coming up here to a little bit of an overbridge, a couple of signs there. Apparently Hanover is to the right, Dortmund and Duisburg to the left. Of course, Dortmund and Schalke do have a bit of a derby in real life when they're actually in the same division. But coming up here, don't want to take a right-hand turn, and that will take us towards where we're going to be playing this game in today's episode. So indeed, this shouldn't be that long a bus trip as we start to make this corner here on Willy Brandt Alley, and that will keep us on this road. So going down here, and in fact now we go onto the Kurt Schumacher Strasse, I believe is how I might pronounce that one, Schumacher. So no doubt you're supposed to go really quick down this road, so let's just wing this one at 70 k's an hour. That's actually a bit disappointing. I thought the Germans did like driving ridiculously quick, but let's keep going here down the road a bit further, because we've got train tracks there in the middle of the road. Let's keep going straight down the road here until in a little while there should be an entrance to the stadium here, says hopefully. And in fact we're already here, so we want to take that little bit of a right hand turn here before going up there a little bit. So now we're starting to get a bit curvy in towards the entrance for the Veltins Arena. Now we make our way up the Stanleburger Weg, whatever that does mean. Not too sure if that means road or something else, but over there, that's where we're playing the Veltins Arena. Of course, as I said earlier, the home of Schalke in the Bundesliga 2, I believe, in real life. Might be in the Bundesliga though, in the safe, obviously big club, but they have been struggling of late, have needed a bit of saving in some FM saves. Just going to try and see if we can actually make our way into the car park here somewhat. It's not looking too encouraging, so maybe this is the best we're going to be able to do here in terms of a view of the outside of the stadium. So let's see what pictures we can find from inside itself. And it's not the greatest example of what it's going to look like here for this upcoming football match, but for some reason most of the photos are when it looks like the floor's made of concrete. So not too sure what's going on here from these photos back in 2017, but here is where we're going to be playing this one at the home of Schalke. As you can see there, maybe it's a floor that comes out over the turf for concerts or something, but I'm not too sure what's going on here with this situation. But here is where we're going to be playing this game, the first one in today's episode. A very nice looking stadium. Probably would look better though with some grass on the field. Let's hope they sort that out. Otherwise, going to be some quite difficult sliding tackles going on in this game, but hopefully can find a way to pinch a result off of Germany. And here are the team sheets for the first game of this international window. First up, the home team here in Germany. They are also going with a 4-2-3-1. To be fair, not too sure if one of their big players there has been picked. But the guy up top in Landshut, he went to Chelsea for about 300 million. Next year they sold him to Villarreal for 200 million. So to be fair, that's quite a Chelsea transfer there in FM, even back, and I think that might have been 2037 or something. So let's strike a traditional Chelsea failure. Hopefully that might mean he's not too great. As we get 4 minutes into this game, let's just get Jamie Young now to ease off tackles. In fact, make that 6 minutes. And eventually, we get the first highlight of this game, Germany in the black, we're in the white, which is a little bit interesting with us being the away team. But I suppose we are called the All Whites. Germany are going to go with the All Black. In terms of us, as you saw before, Debenham at right back, and Vinicius does come in for Evans on that minute restriction, as well, of course, as Billy Debenham in goal instead of Alex Paulsen. But Germany here do keep the ball, but thankfully Tyler Binden does cut that one out, plays it forward to Adam White, and now Josh Pickering plays that into midfield. Looking for Vinicius, not too well done. It falls very kindly there to Kurzweg on a yellow card. It's not good work there. Tyler Binden got done a bit there off the back of that poor pass here from Josh Pickering that you're about to see. Vinicius just couldn't quite get to it, and Kurzweg just does Binden there, who came out to try and shut that down. Then it goes straight to the back of net. Debenham gets beaten early. Not a good start. We're 1-0 down. And we're going to wait a long time before the next highlight in this game, but it is a corner here to Germany. Try and put that one far post, and Debenham does come up there with a decent save to tip that one onto the crossbar. Then Pickering will boot it out, albeit Germany will get a chance here from this corner. The striker in Landshut will take this one, goes to the edge of the box there for Search, back out to him, goes into the mixer, and Debenham thankfully can claim that one nice and safely. But this highlight is going to continue, but as you'd expect, Germany have been on the front foot, albeit not by that much. Actually, surprisingly even game so far, especially off the back of conceding so early. But now we get on the attack here. Adam White plays that to Jamie Young, probably going to come off at halftime with that yellow card. Beale plays that to Vinny, and now out there to Debenham, back in there for Justin Keat. Tries to get Pickering on to the end of it. Bit of a mistake there at the back from Germany, and Josh Pickering will put that one away past Dennis Simon just before halftime, and that is a really big goal because so far Germany have been on top in this game, albeit only the second highlight. So it's been a bit of a quiet first half, but that is not a good bit of work there from Yilmaz, and Pickering puts that away top left corner. Simon went the wrong way, so that shot might have taken a deflection, but Justin Keat with this ball just got the Germans in a bit of trouble, and Yilmaz there, bit of a shocker, and Pickering can make the most of it. And it looks like here we might sneak into halftime locked up at 1-1 there. You can see the stats. Germany have been on the front foot. We are certainly creating a couple of chances, so we're not getting completely outplayed. Thankfully, get a goal back through one of their errors after we stuffed up early. Pickering makes up for that goal that they did score in the opening 10 minutes. Shaun Pearce can come on for Jamie Young, and also Vinicius actually struggling. Louis Evans can come on for him, but relatively happy with how this one's going against a pretty good team out of Europe. 1-1 at halftime in Germany. And a very early highlight here in the second half, and it's going to be a free kick here in our favour, and Josh Pickering will be looking for a double. Hopefully can get this one on target, but unfortunately looking for the top left corner, not too sure if that was the best idea, and Simon was pretty well placed for it anyway. So that's not the best of our free kicks that we've taken, albeit we are going to keep the ball from that corner, but for some reason Tyler Binden just heads it out for a goal kick. I think we need to tell Tyler we're wearing the white today, not the black. But going forward a few more minutes, and now Justin Keats picked up a yellow card, going fairly on a 6.5, so Chris Jones can come on for him at right wing. But to be fair, we're still doing quite well, locked up at 1-1. And just to make our way into the last 20 minutes of this game, and it's Michael Cornelis-Beale now, but has dropped down to a red hat. We've got 6 subs in this window, so another couple we can make off the back of this one. But Sam Clark from Kashmir Tech, he can come on and pair up with his former teammate in Louis Evans. Just looking at who else out there might be struggling at the moment. Looks like McDonald and Simon Curtis, but still 1-1 with 20 minutes left, albeit might not be that way for long. Yilmaz, of course, made the mistake with that goal that we scored late in the first half as the throw-in. They play that one in for the goal scorer in Kurzvig, but thankfully tries to put that one away top right corner. Doesn't test Debenham. Still 1-1 and now about to sneak our way into the last 15 minutes of this game. But to be fair, no one's dropping down to a red hat, but some players out there still on some pretty poor ratings. So we'll take them off early, say, up front for McDonald, and Lucas Kelly-Heald can come on for Simon Curtis. 10 minutes left, and still 1-1.
Yeah.
And that could be a costly couple of subs that we did just make here, because still 1-1 with 5 minutes left, and Josh Pickering, who did go down to a red heart, but of course was our goal scorer on the best rating, he's injured. So now we're down to 10 minutes. If this is how we lose this game, this will be super frustrating. We'll just see if anyone can actually play left wing here that we've got on the field. Maybe just try and play without a central attacking midfielder the last couple of minutes of this one. But unfortunately, lots of players who can go out right, but no one who can go out left apart from Adam White. But obviously, still need our left back, and right off the back of that, all the highlights start. I don't like this FM. This would be a really rubbish way to lose a game to a pretty good team like Germany. If it's because we've gone down to 10 men, because we used up our subs too early, probably should have taken off Pickering, but still, it was only about 10 minutes left, and some players out there were on some poor ratings. Maybe going to learn my lesson. As Debenham there had the ball, but a loose touch, and now Germany can get on the attack, looking for Landschutter inside of the box, but thankfully on the wrong side of the post. Debenham can just watch that one go out for a goal kick, as now we go down the other end after going a bit more positive instead of attacking for a free kick. Tyler Binden takes that one. To be fair, quite good in real life at set pieces, but that one just goes over the bar, and a few minutes later making our way into 5 minutes of added time, a corner in our favour. Unfortunately, can't find anyone from it, and now a decent chance here for Germany somewhat on the counter-attack. Landschutter finds Davic, gets that one back, tight angle, takes on the shot, but thankfully misses the target. You can take him out of Chelsea, but you can't take the Chelsea out of that striker. And now we might just chuck a few more of these players onto supporting him back. We could move Pearce a little bit more to the left, so maybe we can do that and tell them to go back to being attacking. We'll try and be a bit more disciplined though, and time waste, just hopefully make sure Germany get no more highlights in this game, because we'd definitely take a draw being down to 10 men, and thankfully that's what we'll get. A couple of big mistakes there in the first half did lead to both goals. Overall, Germany were the better team in that game, but to be fair, we had our chances to actually escape there with a win in the second half. A couple of situations there from free kicks and corners. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. Thankfully, Germany, they also had some good chances, but couldn't quite hit the target. So I think a 1-1 draw there is quite fair. Hopefully, we can back it up with a win back at home against Paraguay. And we are back in New Zealand for the second international friendly of this window, and a couple of changes for us here. Phoenix at right back, both our usual right backs not on full green hearts. That's an interesting change. Also, Billingsley comes in for Tyler Bindon. We've got Jacob Hall-Jones coming in for Pickering into the squad, and for a start, considering that Pickering did get injured in that German game, not available for this one. And the other change is that we do have Sam Clark coming in the deep line playmaker. Also, a couple of changes for this window. Paraguay, though, it looks like based on stats, have got off to the best start of the two teams in this game. But the first highlight here actually is in our favour. Interesting tackle there, but thankfully Clark does keep hold of the ball. Now Adam White now starts to make his way out left. A bit more interesting pass there, looking for Vinicius, and a chance there for Paraguay to do something on the counter-attack, but thankfully Vinicius gets a chance there to break that back up for us. Now Phoenix plays it back for Vinny, who's getting a few minutes in this window. Unfortunately, Louis Evans still only recommended for 45 minutes. That's actually been the case for most of the players who had that same situation going into that German game. But lovely ball there from Sam Clark, and George McDonald will pick up an EI goal. This is a home game. He's letting Shaun throw the tunes on, but that is a good start off back of the stats actually suggesting that Paraguay got off to the better start in this game. But it's a lovely run there from George McDonald. Thankfully, Sam Clark finds him and does beat Benitez in goal there from a little bit of a tight angle, and we're 1-0 up inside 10 minutes. And just make our way past the 20-minute mark now for the next highlight of this game. That's still our only shot on target and shot overall in this game that you saw before that we scored. To Paraguay are getting FM'd here. Sam Clark there for a decent chance. Unfortunately, puts that one over the bar there. You can see now the stats. Paraguay are all over us, but somehow we're 1-0 in front. And just going past the half-hour mark, and eventually Paraguay here look like they will get a highlight in their favour. And based on stats, they do probably deserve an equaliser in this game. Let's see what they can cook up here from this dead ball situation. Britties, their captain and star player, will take this free kick. Looking there for the top left corner, but thankfully Billy Debenham does come up with a save so far, having a good game on a 7.1. Also worth noting that Ryan Billingsley on a yellow card, so maybe Tyler Bindon, we will need to use him for that second 45 minutes. But thankfully we deal with the danger, albeit this highlight is going to continue. Let's just see if it eventually stops. Indeed it does, and we hold on to our 1-0 lead. And just about to make our way into the last 5 minutes here of the first half of this Paraguay friendly, and we do have a throw in here. We do just keep hold of the ball there. Phoenix briefly lost it. Clark there, though, with an average pass, thankfully gets it back, and eventually we spot White and a ton of space out left. Now Hall-Jones tries to do some footwork there down that left-hand side. One of the Paraguay defenders, Escambia, plays that one back. It's a shocker, and George McDonald can poke that one home to get himself onto a hat-trick. That's an absolute gift, but we'll take it. It's a cushion goal, pretty much against the run of play from what's been happening so far in this game. An absolute catastrophe there at the back from Paraguay. They win the ball, but a poor pass doesn't find its way back to the goalkeeper. George McDonald will poach on that like a good striker does. 2-0, and now another highlight here before half-time, trying to make our way out from the back. Phoenix sprays that out left to Hall-Jones. Interesting to see how Phoenix is getting on here at right back instead of left back at the moment. Not doing too bad a job, albeit it does look like he does quite like switching to the side he usually is playing on. But Paraguay have a good chance on the counter-attack. Nice ball there for Godoy, but thankfully they missed the target there. Their best chance so far that we've seen for them in this first half, but really they're getting FM'd a little bit here in this game. All the stats are in their favour, but the two chances that we've had have been very good ones. McDonald made the most of the first one. Lovely ball from Sam Clark, and then absolute gift, which has helped even out the XG. He put it away as well to get himself on a hat-trick. 2-0 up, going to half-time. We are going to take off here Billingsley for Bindon on that yellow card, and also we'll take off Justin Keat on a 6.4 for Chris Jones. But very happy with how this is going, even though we're not actually playing that well. 2-0 in front over Paraguay. And in fact, a highlight here immediately from the restart. Paraguay no doubt will be feeling a bit harsh on how that happened in the first half, being 2-0 down despite being quite statistically dominant. They do have the ball here at the moment, doing a decent job of keeping hold of it. Garcia plays that back to Duarte. They try and get something going here down the left-hand side. Godoy finds the man who helped set up that second goal for us, so he won't be in too good a mood going into this one, and that ball not too good either. Billy Debenham can come out and claim that, so maybe this will be another highlight here in our favour. One more goal would surely put this game to bed. Tyler Binden plays that for Phoenix yet again, starts to cut inside, but that's a shocking tackle. It's a straight red card to Godoy, and that should really put this game to bed. We're still 2-0 in front, but going to be playing most of the second half against 10 men. And just about to make our way into the last half hour of this game, and Adam White, to be fair, is going fairly out there on a 6.5, so we'll move Cody Phoenix back to left back and bring on Martin Darman for him, give him some game time in this window, because he's almost on a full green card, a regular right back, extra right back, and also let's bring on Piers for Young, also going a bit fairly, as we look to hold on to our 2-0 lead. And in fact, only a few minutes off back of those previous subs now, it's time for another one. Simon Curtis has dropped down to a red hat. We'll bring on Lucas Kelly-Hill for him. And we're going to use all our subs here in quite quick notice in the second half, because we're going forward another 5 minutes and a couple more players have dropped down to red hats. Lots of options we could bring on off the bench. I think the smart idea here might be to take off the midfielder on a red hat and Vinicius for Louis Evans instead of Greenidge for Hall Jones. So it's going to be Evans coming on with our final sub, but doing quite well here, obviously being helped out by the fact we're playing against 10 men, still holding that 2-0 lead. And just making way into the last couple of minutes of this game, to be fair, it's been completely killed off ever since that early red card there in the second half that got away from Paraguay. The stats have evened up, so it does actually look like we kind of deserved that win, but in the first half, we completely FM'd them with those 2 goals to George McDonald, albeit one of them was an absolute gift late there in the first half, and that early second half red card to Osvaldo Godoy did mean that really never under threat from there. Absolutely no highlights in the second half, could make subs when we wanted and didn't make too much of a difference. To be fair, Billy Debenham and goal actually one of our better players in that game, but it's a pretty good window for us there with the All Whites. We back up that draw against Germany with a 2-0 win over Paraguay. So a pretty good window for us there with the All Whites there to start off 2039 and draw against Germany, backed up with a win over Paraguay. Obviously helped out quite a bit though by that red card in the second half. To be fair, we were 2-0 up by half time, albeit that was a little bit of an FMing, and thankfully that does mean an early rise up the rankings back to our overall high so far in the save of 16th. Unfortunately, Australia are still just above us, but we have gone above Ukraine, so we are now 16th in the world. Let's see who we can play in the next window. Maybe try and target the US, who somehow are above Germany. I think they might be the biggest frauds inside that top 10, considering they got beaten by Panama when we were supposed to be playing them last year. So hopefully we can schedule in a friendly against the US and maybe someone else who wants to come down to New Zealand who we haven't played so far in the save, especially in the last little while, since we have been a half decent team. But that will do it for today's episode. A good window and up to 16th in the world. If you enjoyed that one, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. Come back tomorrow and do something in regards to the OFC Champions League with Kashmir Tech. As I said, it is looking like the Champions League this season at Kashmir Tech might be quite easy, especially compared to the last couple that we have played. So I'll record the games that we play in that competition. We'll probably come back if one of them becomes interesting, or for the final, which you'd expect to be against Havelock North, but it is their first time in the competition. They could be ripe for an upset. But we'll come back tomorrow, do something in regards to Kashmir Tech in terms of that OFC Champions League. So until then, thank you very much for watching, keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.